His Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura, the Right Honorable Speaker, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, the President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Dr. Aliko Dangote, members of the National Assembly here present, honorable members, and members of the Federal Executive Council, chairmen, chief executives of federal boards and parastatals, members of the Nasarawa State Executive Council who are here present, the Secretary to the State Government, special advisors, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Lafia, Alhaji Dr. Isa Mustafa Agwe I, OFR, and Chairman Nasarawa State Council of Chiefs, Royal Highnesses from Nasarawa State here present, Interim Management Committee
and
Chairman
a very warm welcome
Council,
to this live telecast, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Let me quickly, on behalf of the outside broadcast crew, saddled with the professional responsibility to bring you this program, thank you for joining us at this time. My name is Kolo Muhammad. The program is signing ceremony of the deed of acquisition, lease and development agreement between Nasarawa State Government and Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC for a 60-hectare of land acquired for sugar production backward integration project, that's cane plantation and refinery at Tunga Away local government area, Nasarawa State. It will be recalled that sometimes in September of 2012, the federal government of Nigeria came up with a national sugar master plan. Against this backdrop, sugar refiners were given the mandate to look inward, to consider to begin to plant their own cane, which of course is a major raw material in sugar production, and or patronize local farmers. Following that, partnerships were gone into with states who have lofty potentials in sugarcane plantation. Clearly, Nasarawa State attains that feat, which explains why Dangote Sugar, a subsidiary of Dangote Group, is going into this agreement today with Nasarawa State Government to sign a deed of acquisition, lease and development agreement between the state and Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC for a 60-hectare of land acquired for sugar production, backward integration, cane plantation and refinery at Tunga Away local government area. Before now, most of the sugar refiners in the country refine raw sugar imported from foreign countries, especially Brazil. When this project comes up on stream, raw plus refined sugar will be purely local business. Once again, you're welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min azabil qabr wa min azabin nar wa min fitnatil mahya wal mamati wa min fitnatil masiihid dajjal. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita wa rahimta wa barakta ala sayyidina Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majidun. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifuna wa salamu ala al mursalin walhamdulillahi.
Your Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura, most distinguished Senator and First Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, Sarkin Yak in Kefi, I'd like to tender unreserved apologies. My initial reel of the protocol, I did not mention the most distinguished senator. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, Today is a historic day for the people of Nasarawa State. We're here to witness the historic signing ceremony of the deed of acquisition, lease and development agreement between Nasarawa State government and Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC for 60,000 hectares of land, which has been acquired by Dangote Group for sugar production. It's backward integration project, cane plantation. Now, usually what happens is states and nations are born, they're created. Nasarawa State was created in 1996. And it's just 21 years old. We often like to celebrate our birthdays and clock anniversaries. So you say, my state is 5 years old, or it is 10 years old, or it is 20 years old. And you want to look back and say, what have you achieved in your long journey? Today indicates a milestone in the history of Nasarawa State. After 21 years, the expectations are very high, and we're leaping into the future with pride as the Nasarawa State government partners with Dangote Group for the creation of the largest sugarcane or sugar plantation in the whole of West Africa. So you're most warmly welcome. I'd like to now invite the Executive Secretary of the National Sugar Development Council, Dr. Latif Busari, to give us the welcome address.
Excellencies, honorable ministers in our presence, our royal fathers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the Sugar House on this very auspicious occasion of the signing of the MOU between the Nasarawa State government and the Dangote Sugar Group. To us in the council, it is an epoch-making event in several respects. First, this is the first time we are having an array of some of the most distinguished Nigerians from both public and private sectors since we moved into these modest premises. This in itself is historical. But secondly, and perhaps more important, is the very reason for which these great Nigerians are gathered here today. The ceremony that we are about to witness marks the beginning of what promises to be another history-making venture for our country. If and when this project materializes, and I have no doubt at all that it will materialize, given the antecedents and the powerful forces and personalities behind the project, it will be the single largest sugar factory in the whole of West Africa and perhaps even Africa. Because we are the Sugar Council and we are here talking about sugar, a sugar project, I am privileged to have a few information about this project that at this point in time is known to few. When completed, hopefully within the next 4 to 5 years, the sugar estate will consist of over 45,000 hectares of sugarcane field, producing over 400,000 tons of sugar and generating some 96 megawatts of electricity annually. Perhaps more important to government, given our current unemployment challenges, it will also create over 19,000 jobs for different cadres of skilled and unskilled manpower. As an agency of government that superintends over the sugar industry, I can tell you that we cannot wait to see the consummation and completion of this project. We see it as a game-changing venture that will radically change the narrative as far as local sugar production is concerned. But in view of our recent experiences with similar projects, I sincerely hope this agreement between the Nasarawa State government and the Dangote Sugar Group contains clauses that will shield its execution from political interference. Some of our projects have suffered from this malaise in recent times. I have absolutely no doubt that both Alhaji Aliko and His Excellency the Governor are committed to the project and will see its solution. But since in all probability, the development of the project will outlive the current state administration, I think it is important that we secure the continuation and survival of this project beyond the life of the current government, even though we expect that a lot of ground will have been covered by that time. In this regard, if possible, the agreement should be made legally binding on all parties such that its reversal will be deemed impossible by whoever may come later. Again, learning from recent experiences, we would want all sugar sector investors to focus on and fast-track factory development, even as they pay attention to field development between now and 2020. I mean, before we came in for this event, I was having a conversation with Alhaji Aliko, and this was just the point he made. This is for both our greenfield projects as well as the ongoing BRP projects. What we have had so far is far more attention being paid to the field development, which of course is good, but we need equal attention on the design and procurement of factory machineries. Until the machineries arrive on site, we do not have a sugar industry, and whatever is done on the field is almost reversible. With these few words, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am very delighted to welcome you all once again and hope that our God that is in heaven, who is also witness to this agreement, will facilitate its successful completion. Your Excellency, distinguished royal fathers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and welcome.
I would like to thank the Executive Secretary of the Sugar Refinery PLC, Sugar Development Council, Dr. Lateef Busari, for his very illuminating comments. It's a journey of 1,000 miles, which began so many years back, and we would like to show you a film that just sort of captures the journey so far. So the very next item on the program is the movie, which would be shown, the journey so far. Hold on. Just cute. Okay. All right, before we get the movie set, I think at this point I would like to call on the Acting Managing Director, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, Alhaji Abdullahi Sule, to give verbatim a project overview, and then we can save the movie for later. We would now call on the Acting Managing Director, Dangote Sugar Refinery, Engineer Sule, to give us a project overview before you watch the movie.
Your Excellencies, our Royal Fathers, Chairman and other directors of Dangote Group, members of Nasarawa State House of Assembly, being led by the Honorable Speaker, Secretary to the Government, our former Governor and Chairman of the Committee on Agriculture in the Senate, Honorable Jafaru, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be the one actually to give you a little bit of an idea about how this project started. which we call the Dangote Tunga Sugar Project. The idea of Dangote Sugar Project actually took its theme from the visit made by our chairman and members of the Dangote Group to Lafia, where he met with His Excellency and were able to come up with what we have at the moment. But in order for us to know where we are going, it's better if we know where we are coming from. So who are we as Dangote Sugar? Dangote Sugar actually currently has a sugar refinery which was established in 1999 and commissioned in the year 2000. Currently 1.4 million metric tons per annum. It's very important to hold this number because that's about the size of the total consumption of sugar in Nigeria. So as a matter of fact, now that we have this 1.4 million metric tons, there will have been no need for our brothers from flour mills to build another refinery. Dangote Sugar was actually listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange in the year 2007. And we do import sugar from Brazil in the neighborhood of 600 to 800 ICUMSA. ICUMSA is the unit of measuring sugar. It actually stands for International Committee for the Uniform Method of Sugar Analysis. We do import from there, and we do have technology that refines the sugar down to less than 20 ICUMSA. Then we bag the sugar in 50 kg bags. We also bag in retail packs. And the sugar is actually fortified with vitamin A. Fortification of sugar is a technology that we have mastered in Dangote to the point that some countries like Kenya actually come to Dangote Sugar to learn how to do fortification of sugar. We currently employ about 1,500 in the refinery. It is very important for you to hold this number as we go down this presentation. Then came the Sugar for Nigeria project, which is what brought about this project in the first place. Okay. You go next. Now. This is not sugar technology here. Okay. So maybe we go this way. So we went to, as part of the idea about going to backward integration, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Sugar Council, in the year 2012, September to be precise, decided to develop, what we call the backward integration of sugar, so that instead of importing raw sugar, we shall actually be producing the sugar locally here in Nigeria. And as part of what happened was the Sugar Council was able to identify some states and areas where this could be developed. And Tunga happened to be one of those places that had been identified. But at the time, Tunga probably was just a small area that was identified. So we went there, which is what you have seen at the top, the project location. The Tunga in our local government area that we went to identify. At the time that our chairman went to identify, it was less than 40,000. It is important here to mention, because of the kind of reception our chairman received with his team, and the way the governor has shown us the support and everything, our chairman increased the size of the investment from less than 40,000 to 60,000 metric tons, 60,000 hectares of land. So the idea is, why sugar? A lot of people just understand sugar as the cane that we actually just produce crystal and consume, but sugar is far more than that, which is the idea of the backward integration. So the value chain for sugar starts from what you see in the cane. From the cane, we actually extract to produce the sugar out of the sucrose, which is the liquid form. The solid form, which is the fiber, is what we call the trash. We generate electricity from it. And of course, the biggest aspect of this project is the social impact, the social development. By the time we go today, we are going to be producing less than 50% of what is actually in the refinery in Lagos, yet Nasarawa State is going to see employment of not less than 30,000 people. So the idea, as I said earlier, was to produce a much smaller factory, but by the time our chairman went into it, we now have 2 factories actually, each one of 12,000 TCD, tons of cane per day. And that's what is going to cause into production not only of sugar, but also ethanol, animal feeds, and the electricity that I have mentioned earlier. So the process which we actually showed to the governor was going to start with what we call the feasibility study, then our design packages, then we will go for tender for the construction of the factory and also construction of the farms themselves. And we gave each time for that. But I think because our chairman loves not just our governor but Nasarawa State, he shortened the period that we have to finish this in 5 years. In fact, when we were in the plane, he changed the 5 years to 4 years, 10 months. So the idea now went to, if we go to Nasarawa State to do this, what are the key metrics? What are we going to achieve? Out of the 60,000 hectares of land, we are going to take 54,000 hectares that will be directly under cane. So planting of cane will be that figure. The cane production is going to be 4.3 million, and because of the ratio of 100 tons of cane per hectare, and the 2 factories of 12,000 TCD, and the 10% extraction which we have, with the implementation period of the 30 months, we are looking at a production of 432,000 metric tons of sugar per annum, which translates also to generating electricity of not less than 96 megawatts. Out of these 96 megawatts, our project requires just 50% of that, and we strongly believe the entire Nasarawa State may not require more than the balance of what we have, which we are going to actually pass into the national grid. Then we are going to also produce 100,000 tons of animal feed, and of course about 34 million liters of ethanol. So these are the benefits that we said are going to come along with this factory. The livelihood, already there is livelihood, there is life going on right now in Tunga with due respect to a traditional ruler. Because of the permission we got from the governor to go ahead, even before signing of this agreement, to go ahead and start what we call the seed cane farm. We had already moved equipment to the site, from what you will see later in the pictures. I don't know where you can make it full page. Aha. Okay, that's right. Aha. So the expected benefits from what we said, based on what we have seen, I had mentioned approximately 30,000 jobs that we are going to generate, a maximum of 30% of the cane that we are going to have will come from what we call the outgrower scheme. And there is no better place to mention that than the Sugar Council. Sugar Council is insisting that we must have outgrowers, because outgrowers is where the empowerment comes from. There is no better farmer, I believe, than an outgrower of cane. because whatever he produces is going to be purchased, is going to be bought by the factory at a price not determined by the factory, but at a price determined by a formula which we receive from the Sugar Council. And today, we are already practicing that. In fact, we got a big applause during the midterm review last week when the Sugar Council said, in the whole of Nigeria, it is only Dangote that has so far started the outgrower scheme. And in addition to that, 40% of the cane planting is going to be manual, and that's the idea of this generating employment opportunities. And I have mentioned the electricity generation. Then the township that is going to be created by that. Today in Savannah, which is the other factory that we have already, we have a clinic, we have a school, we actually have worshiping areas, and then we have what we call the township, which is the estate where the staff are. So the direct employment that we have going to be about 30,000, but in reality, people who are coming to also do other businesses in the area, and extended, you will have additional at least another 20,000 people that are going to be there. So as a result of the governor giving us the go-ahead, even before the signing of the agreement, we decided to mobilize equipment to site. And that is what you see. So we mobilized the site and started what we call the land clearing. After the land clearing, of course, we look at the water, which is the biggest attraction when it comes to sugar. So Tunga is blessed with a huge amount of River Niger going just by the side of Tunga. So we mobilized the site and went to business. And that's what you will see. By the 30th of April, we had already started clearing, and that's during the visit that I made to the site, to see the initial. So at this point, let me single out Mr. Omar Hussein and his team for relocating from Savannah to the site, to start doing that wonderful job. So Omar Hussein, we thank you so much for that. Unknown to us, maybe the governor, out of excitement, also wanted to visit the site. We didn't know he was visiting. So we only saw it in pictures that the governor also took special interest after my visit to also pay his visit. And that's our Omar Hussein, who thought the people were actually waving at him, not knowing that they were waving at the governor. So that's the development that has already been done in the area. From what you can see, this is what Tunga has already turned out to. Because we started by constructing 7-kilometer road from the old Tunga to the site. And then after constructing the equipment, now we went ahead and actually, in fact, if we have sugar farmers here, a good one will say, with this kind of flat land and water, can I please construct a house at the middle of that farm so I can live there? So at the bottom of it, what you saw is after the rain started, I had to go for another visit. So when we went for that second visit, that's when we decided that at this point, the water level had gone so deep, so it will be detrimental for the planting of the cane. So we are going to continue with other operations, but the planting of the cane now comes in October. And that's the road that we have done. So the aerial view from what you can see from the sky is actually the land that we have already concluded. So that's the amount of work that has been done, and those are the benefits that are going to come to Nasarawa State, thanks to our chairman for his investment drive and his commitment, because the commitment is more towards the social impact that he is always talking about, rather than the profit making that we are doing from this business. And I thank you very much.
You've heard from the acting managing director of the Dangote Sugar Refinery. In Nasarawa State, His Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Makura has is believing. His Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Makura is a politician who has a very clear view. He has depth of clarity. And because of that, when the entire project started, there was so much that had been done, so much. We wouldn't sit back and actually say how much has been done. What you're about to watch right now is a 10 minutes video. It captures from both the perspective of His Excellency and the good people of Nasarawa State, as well as the investors, what is being contributed and how monumental and how historic this particular project is. So I'd like for you to kindly watch any of the screens close to you, and you would see the journey so far. We'll play back the video. It will just be 10 minutes of your time. Sorry, it's a very unique hall that we're using. We're using the sugar house. So certain things, okay. This is the video actually.
Square kilometers and is located in the Savannah belt of Nigeria. Nasarawa State is known as the home of solid minerals because each local government area of the state is blessed with not less than 2 solid mineral deposits. But agriculture remains the mainstay of the economy as Nasarawa State is endowed with arable land which is fertile and suitable to the cultivation of a variety of cash and food crops ranging from cassava, melon, yam, groundnut, guinea corn, millet, sesame seed, and sugarcane.
Look at the agricultural potentials of the state. Now Nasarawa State is partnering with conglomerates and entrepreneurs are interested in large-scale farming. And the mother of it all is the emergence of Dangote. With this policy, Dangote has found Nasarawa State to be conducive not only for its activities, but the friendly atmosphere the state has given for land acquisition and participation has encouraged Dangote now to acquire about 60,000 hectares, where he is already working to establish the second largest sugar refinery in Africa.
This project is a project that because of having enough land right now, will be able to produce about 480,000 tons of sugar. It's about 27% of the consumption of Nigeria. And this project will cost almost about $700 million.
He's going to spend over $200 billion in the South State. awarded and recognized as one of the centers of mass production of sugar, not only in Nigeria, but in the world.
A businessman clearly sees and is still seeing what we stand to benefit. That is why it's fast track. That is why it's facilitating. It's giving more space for any clock on the wheel of this project. I was asking, what is the enthusiasm, happiness, your excitement about this? See, in quote, this is my personal project, this is my personal investment. I will be primitive if I do not open out to embrace this very rare opportunity.
Actually, this is going to be the largest sugar plantation in the entire West Africa. The entire West Africa, we actually don't even produce to 50,000 tons. Everywhere, there are, everywhere in Nigeria, Senegal, in the ECOWAS, the total production of sugar that we have is not up to 50. So we are doing double here in Nasarawa.
Since we discussed last year, I deployed the resources of the state in providing broad networks from away to Tunga, so that whenever people come for visibility, they wouldn't have any problem accessing the area.
Mai girma gona mun ga kokarin shi. Da muna da hanya daga wai zuwa lafiya. Ga hanya lalace daga Tunga zuwa wai mai ta faduwa. Amma ga shi ya kokari ya fitar mana da hanyar mu daga wai zuwa Tunga.
How many trucks do we need to do the distribution? You are talking about almost 600 trucks that we need to take the sugar and distribute all across Nigeria.
Given the obscure nature of the area, the South State is going to ensure full-fledged security networks that will give your workers the opportunity to work without any hindrances, any fears, or any trepidation.
I am from Tunga, at the extreme end of away local government, which really makes us away from civilization. Anybody who knows away, I don't want to be particular. Away local government are called in Hausa Kasanchi. Land inside. The land inside. That is to say, I don't know how they want to interpret it, but maybe they want to equate it with our level of civilization and development. That's why I call this investment a new world.
There's no waste in sugar. So in the shell of sugar, which is the bagasse, we'll be able to generate power over 96 megawatts. We will consume only about 40, maximum 42, and over 50 megawatts will
to ensure that we jealously guide and guard this initiative by this conglomerate because of the multiplier effect that this project has for the South State.
The employment, even direct for us as a company would be over 30,000 people.
The way I saw all the people here in the South State, they welcome me, they welcome the good people sure, and they welcome me. Whenever I go, things are moving fine.
There is money, there is also wealth. So you have to actually define your life and say, yes, I'm trying to be a wealthy man, not a rich man. A rich man gives the money to himself. A wealthy man will definitely make sure that the happiness is distributed. You have the money, but you use your money to also empower people. Because the only thing that you have, which is your benefit, is after you pass on. Because all of us will pass on one day. So after you pass on, somebody will remember that yes, we and our parents were in abject poverty until Mr. XYZ brought this joy and happiness to us.
I want to thank you for considering the South State to be fit to house this very important factor. And I want to assure you that we'll do whatever we can to ensure that this seed of wealth that you are planting in the South State will germinate and expand the scope of our prosperity, wealth, and well-being.
Your Excellencies, that summarizes for you the journey from our perspective in Government House under the stewardship of His Excellency Governor Morutan Kwalmakura. So you would rightly say all over the world, today actually is a day for Nasarawa State. It is a day for the good people of Nasarawa State. It is also a day for His Excellency Governor Morutan Kwalmakura, just as it is a day for the President and CEO of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote. But while watching the movie, it just occurred to me that really, today is a day for our dear President, President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, Nasarawa State is called the political laboratory of President Buhari because in 2011, President Buhari installed His Excellency Governor Morutan Kwalmakura, who happened to be the only CPC governor in the entire country. And President Buhari, before he became president, took that one single state, Nasarawa State, as his political laboratory, and he brought it to the merger table to create the Legacy Party. That is why His Excellency Governor Morutan Kwalmakura upholds the cherished values of His Excellency, the President, even as he recuperates very far away. Now, at this point, as we celebrate the change towards diversifying our economy from over-dependence on oil to agriculture, which is a signature of the change administration, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, the moment of the signing of the MOU, the signing of the deed of acquisition, the lease and development agreement between Nasarawa State government and Dangote Group for the acquisition of, for the building of the sugar refinery in Tunga. I'd like to now call on, I think the papers will be brought forward for the signing. The Executive Secretary of the National Sugar Development Council was initially pointing out that certain salient points should actually be included in the MOU. The MOU is for acquisition, lease, and development agreement between Nasarawa State Government and Angote Sugar Refinery PLC for 60,000 hectares of land, which has been acquired for sugar production backward integration project. It would be in Awe local government area, specifically in Tunga, the land inside. I can assure you that sooner than later, Tunga will be producing lots and lots of millionaires as well. Inshallah. His Excellency has appended his signature. This is history in the making. The investment is $700 million. Over 216 billion naira. This is what I call securing the future.
What of the other ministers who represent Minister, Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, Dr. Kuchiko? That's the one Minister is representing. Oh, that's the one he's representing. The main minister. The main minister. Oh, okay. The Minister of Agriculture. Nobody. We haven't heard. Nobody. Just cancel this.
The deed of acquisition, lease and development agreement, the MOU, signed, sealed, and delivered between Nasarawa State Government and Angote Sugar Refinery PLC for the 60,000 hectares of land acquired for sugar production in Tunga Awe local government area of Nasarawa State. Thank you. At this point, we'll take a few goodwill messages, and the first goodwill message would be one to be delivered on behalf of the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Trade and Investments, and the gentleman to deliver the goodwill message is Aminu Aliu Bisalla, the Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Sir.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Alhaji Tanko Alumakura, members of the National Assembly here present, the Speaker of the Nasarawa State Assembly, President Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, GCON, representative of the CBN Governor, representative of the CG Custom, our royal fathers here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Nelema, I wish to commend the Governor of Nasarawa State and the President of the Dangote Group for achieving this feat. Your Excellency, sir, under the leadership of Aliko Dangote, alongside other key sector players, we've been able to achieve self-sufficiency in cement. And I have no doubt that the same feat will be achieved under sugar, as demonstrated today. We've just reviewed the Sugar Master Plan just a week ago. It is apparent that we are still far from the target set. The domestic production is still under 1 digit when you compare to the total national consumption. We're producing less than 5% of the sugar demand consumed by Nigerians. So with this demonstration, it only shows the contribution of Dangote in moving the nation forward towards making Nigeria self-sufficiency in sugar production. It is clear that it's not only sugar from what is demonstrated, it's about power that will be generated, and of course, the chain effect of it that we all know that will boost more of industrial development alongside other economic activities. So it is really a demonstration of the goodwill and support to moving forward the country toward the diversification drive that is enunciated. So on this ground, I want to once again thank Dangote for his laudable contribution and commend the people of Nasarawa State for being supportive of the Ease of Doing Business campaign as being initiated by our president towards the diversification of the economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll now take the goodwill message from the representative of the CBN governor. It's my honor to invite the Deputy Governor, Suleiman Barrow, to present his goodwill message.
The Governor of Nasarawa State, His Excellency Alhaji Omar Tanko Al-Makura, the Speaker of Nasarawa State, other senior government officials of Nasarawa State, distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the Chair, Senate Committee on Agric, the President, Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the MD of the sugar business of Dangote Group, the Executive Secretary, National Sugar Council, other distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Let me extend the apologies of the Governor of the Central Bank that for some other important reason that he is personally not able to attend this ceremony. But it gives me that rare privilege to stand before him and give a goodwill message on his behalf, on behalf of the Central Bank of Nigeria. First of all, let me congratulate the governor, my brother, the governor of Nasarawa State, for attracting this project to his state with all the huge benefits that we've seen, the potential, and I believe real benefits that will accrue to the state. If I had been consulted, I would have said it should be cited in Kaduna State, my state, but but having served in Nasarawa State myself, I see myself as a bona fide citizen, indigene of Nasarawa State. So let me congratulate you, Governor, for this initiative. But let me congratulate the president of the Dangote Group as well. We are a stakeholder in the business and important initiatives that Alhaji Aliko Dangote has driven, whether it is cement, oil refining, and now sugar. And it's for very good reasons. Any business that will reduce the importation of products into Nigeria, or that will encourage the export of goods out of Nigeria, and therefore reduce or reduce the use of foreign exchange, or increase the pool of foreign exchange that is attracted to the country, is something that we support. And Alhaji Aliko Dangote has been doing that and will continue to do that. So we see we are a key stakeholder. We support this initiative. Besides, 30,000 jobs in an economy where unemployment is about 14% today is no mean contribution, to moving the economy forward. So on behalf of the governor of the Central Bank, and indeed all of us at the Central Bank, let me congratulate both Nasarawa State and Alhaji Aliko Dangote and the Dangote Group for this very, very important initiative. Let me also quickly say that we will support this project to make sure that the 4 years, 10 months is achieved in whatever way we can. Therefore, it is truly a privilege for me to stand before you, and let me congratulate you again and best wishes. Thank you very much.
We'd like to thank the Deputy Governor of the CBN, who is a bona fide indigene of Nasarawa State, for agreeing that the project should stay with us, his first home, actually. At this point, it is my singular honor and privilege to respectfully call on the first Executive Governor of Nasarawa State and the Senate Committee Chairman on Agriculture, distinguished Senator Dr. Abdullahi Adamu Sarkinyak Inkefi, to deliver his goodwill message.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Lahaji Umaru Tanko Almakura, the President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, GCON, the Right Honorable Speaker of the National State House of Assembly, other legislators at various tiers of governance in Nigeria here present, our very dear royal fathers, distinguished invitees. I consider it a very, very rare privilege to be one of those on occasions like this who are blessed by Almighty God to be present, to be witnesses, to be involved in what we have just seen a while ago. The signing of a memorandum of understanding which would propel the production of one of the most essential commodities known to man today. And the privileged aspect of it has to do with the size of investment, the size of the chain that will accompany the investment. Nasarawa State, as we all know, is an agrarian state, is a rural state. I'm never ashamed to say it. And when we have projects like the Dangote Group is bringing forth to the state, it is an opener to better life. An opener to better life because the effect, the benefit goes where it matters most, the grassroots of our communities. From the testimony given by those who spoke before me, it is absolutely clear that anybody, any organization that will bring us in from the heavens above employment opportunities for up to 30,000 Nigerians, it is no mean achievement. And to invest anything over and above 200 billion naira, or $700 million, American dollars, you are moving a whole humanity. And the people of Tonga are where they are where it happened, or is going to happen. But the entire country will feel the impact of this investment. There will be chains and chains of activities emanating from this project. And the sky will be the limit. So I hardly have enough words to thank the Chief Executive of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote GCON, and members of his board of directors for the foresight to come about the project we're talking about. The group is involved with sugar production in this country, sugar refining in this country, and their commitment to the development of agriculture in Nigeria knows no bound. That is the key to the door of prosperity in Nigeria. Over and above the sugar we are celebrating, is established in Nasarawa State. The same Dangote group is involved in rice production in Nigeria. And they have invested something in the region of $1 billion for rice production. They have got other smaller affiliates to the group or to the chairman who are involved into other callings in agriculture, like tomato production, tomato processing, and palm oil. There's major interest in agriculture. And I have seen no other investor, foreign or local, that has so exposed, investment into agriculture like the Dangote Group is doing. We cannot thank you enough. May God Almighty continue to guide and strengthen your commitment and foresight in this regard. A word for my fellow brothers and sisters from the state, and particularly so from the immediate community where this project has been cited. When the executive secretary of the Sugar Council was making his intervention, he did allude to the issue of stability, peace. We want to assure that Nasarawa State is a very peaceful state, and I have reason to believe, by the grace of God, the people of Tunga will continue to ensure that the Dangote Group has a real free hold, so that the investment we are talking about that is coming will be free of any encumbrances. May God Almighty help us, and may we see to the fruits of this project. Thank you. God bless.
We'd like to thank the most distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu Sarkinyak Inkefi, First Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, for the speech. I'd like to hasten up because we have just a few minutes. The next item is, we're at the crux of it all, the messages from the President of Dangote Group as well as His Excellency. But just before then, the message from the President of Dangote Group, we'll take 1 minute interlude. We would call the traditional ruler, His Royal Highness of Tunga, Alhaji Bala Galadima Ibrahim, His Royal Highness, who would step forward and confer on Aliko Dangote, a traditional title from the immediate community, to show just how far their heart has started overflowing with joy.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, all other protocol respected. Mine is just a word of, is just to register my appreciation to the Chief Executive of Dangote Group for bringing for bringing prosperity to my immediate community, Nasarawa State, and the country in general. Consequently, on behalf of His Excellency and my good community, I confer on the Chief Executive of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the title of Jaraman Tunga. This title connotes somebody who has conquered, because he has conquered the unseen. That land is ours, but we don't know what is there. He is able to conquer the unseen. Thank you very much.
The title is Jarmantunga, he who has conquered the unseen. The president and CEO of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, is a man who exudes humility, philanthropy, excellence, and as well, deep philanthropy. Someone said to me before we started this event that if he had the money of Dangote, that the problem he will have is he won't be able to sleep at night. So we watched on the video where the president of Dangote said he doesn't have money for the sake of riches. He has wealth to regenerate and spread and uplift other people. At this point, I'd like to invite the president and CEO of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, CCON, to present his speech, after which we'll call on His Excellency.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Alhaji Umaru Tanko Almakura, His Excellency, also Senator Abdullahi Adamu, who is also Chairman of the Agriculture of Senate Committee, and also Honorable Mohammed Jafaru, Chairman, Committee on Agriculture, House of Reps, the Honorable Speaker, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, and also the Majority Leader, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, the Secretary to the Government of Nasarawa State, the traditional rulers with us here, the representative of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who is the Permanent Secretary, the representative of the Governor of Central Bank, who is also my brother, Deputy Governor Suleiman Barau, and then our host here, the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Sugar Development Council, Dr. Busari, our directors of Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, and also the directors of Dangote Industries that are here with us, the Group Managing Director of Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC, who is also our guest, all other protocols duly observed. Well, I've had the the Majority Leader of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly describing away from civilization. I can assure you, by the time that we start, Awe and Tunga area will have an airfield, will be landing with an aircraft there. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this ceremony for signing of the MOU between Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC and the government of Nasarawa State for the Tunga Sugar Project. Dangote is best known for our investment in manufacturing, where we are the leading producer in cement in Africa. We are proud of the role we played in successfully transforming Nigeria from being the biggest importer of cement today to an exporter of cement. And that's what we've been talking about. You know, we will actually going to demonstrate that, yes, we can also do that in sugar. Today, we have aligned ourselves with the present government's policy of diversifying the economy by a renewed focus on the non-oil sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and mining. We are today well-positioned and leaders in each of these three sectors. Our interest in agriculture is driven by our desire to generate thousands of jobs, especially in the rural and deprived areas of our country. In agriculture, we have launched mega projects in sugar, rice, and dairy farming. In manufacturing, we are building one of the world's largest fertilizer so that it could help agriculture. We will be doing 3 million tons of urea and ammonia, which is actually the largest compared to also the one in Qatar, were about the same size. We'll be doing also a refinery of 650,000 barrels, which is the biggest, largest ever single line of refinery in the world. Attached to the refinery, we have 1.3 million tons of petrochemical, which is 10 times LMA petrochemical, all at the same location. And this will be one of the largest industrial zones that we're building at Lekki. Dangote Group's entry into sugar business began in 1981. I remember that the first cargo I imported into Nigeria in 1981, February, was 5,000 tons. The group started with that import of bulk sugar into Nigeria, and later on we built our refinery with a capacity of 900,000 tons, which was commissioned in the year 2000 at Apapa Port Complex. Today, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC is 1.4 million metric tons per annum, and it is the largest in Africa and second largest in the world. And it is also quoted at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We have a total of 110,000 shareholders as we speak. The complete set of equipment and machinery for a modern 3,000 per day sugar refinery that we were to build in Algeria as part of our own expansion is actually still here in Nigeria in crates. Well, what we want to say is that we must thank Dr. Busari for his toughness, for him not allowing us to erect that factory and force us to now do the backward integration. Doctor, thank you very much. Dangote Group actually, commenced sugar plantation with the acquisition of Savannah Sugar in Numan in Adama State from the federal government in 2003. But actually, it wasn't our first attempt. Our first attempt was during the privatization which Hamza Zayed led, and we won that privatization in 1988. But I think it was rejected because people from the area said that no, they must be the ones to produce the sugar. And it didn't take off for over 20 years. And that is really very, very, very sad. But the group now has invested almost about 38 billion, in Savannah, and is still making huge investment in expanding the size of the plantation and the factory. Savannah is the only company that is a local producer of sugar on a commercial scale in Nigeria today. Agriculture is a key sector in the industrialization of any nation. Therefore, Dangote, in support of the federal government's transformation agenda in agriculture, developed a sugar backward integration, project plan targeting at about 1.5 million tons from various sites across Nigeria in the next 10 years. We are actually, well, this is possible, and I believe that Nigeria can be even an exporter of sugar, because it costs more money to build a cement plant than to do a sugar plantation. And you can see in cement, we only started actual cement. First factory was commissioned in 2007. But in the next, by now we're at 47 million tons, and we will be at 80 million tons in the next 2 years. So you can see that if we can do that, there's nothing that can stop us from replicating that in agriculture. And we are really, really very serious in moving into agriculture. We're actually acquiring more land, not only in Adama, Taraba, Kwara, Kogi, and Niger. We want to also acquire more land in Nasarawa to bring more prosperity. As we speak now, the target is for Dangote Sugar to produce 1.08 million tons of white sugar in the next 5 years, like what Engineer Sule said. And I believe it is doable. We will do it. I know that the executive secretary said that this is a very tall, tough target, but I can assure you, Dr. Busari will be able to achieve this, and we will work hard to do that. When you look at this, we will be able to employ over 100,000 people as, you know, opportunity to give them jobs. And the other jobs is to do with outgrowers. Outgrowers is where you will be able to empower people more and actually spread a lot of prosperity. And I would like to thank both Sugar Development Council for funding outgrowers, but most especially Central Bank is pumping billions of naira to support outgrowers, not only in sugar, in all other commodities. We must commend them. With this plantation, we will establish integrated sugar mills with attached refineries. We will generate more power than we need, which means we will pass a lot of power to the grid, which is a major challenge today in Nigeria. We will produce molasses. We will actually produce a lot of ethanol, which is you know, fuel, and we will do biomass, which is like, you know, fertilizer. We'll produce animal feed from the bagasse and the molasses, and this will support and encourage more investment in agricultural sector. In Nasarawa State, we have concluded plans for an integrated sugar complex at Tunga, for which we are now signing, we have already signed the MOU. The project comprises of about 60,000 hectares of sugar plantation and 12,000 tons of cane per hour plants, which will produce 430,000 tons per annum of refined white sugar, which represents about 30% of the national consumption today. And as I said earlier on, this will be the largest sugar plantation in Nigeria and West Africa. And we are targeting that by the time that we have additional land, it will make history and become the largest sugar plantation in Africa. Nigeria's dream of becoming self-sufficient in sugar production is a well encapsulated in the master plan produced by the Sugar Council. Dr. Busari, Executive Secretary of Sugar Council, was one of the brains behind this production of the master plan. We were greatly encouraged when he was reappointed to take charge and once again supervise the execution of the master plan. The most difficult part is the execution. In Nigeria, we have all sorts of plans, but execution is the difficult part. But with having Dr. Busari, we will all now go to bed and make sure that, yes, that this thing will be done, and it will be done according to the rules of the game. It is important that the plan is religiously implemented and there is a level playing field and transparency in imposing sanctions and also reward for players when required. This has to be done as as was the case in the cement industry. You heard what the permanent secretary said. We have achieved that in cement. We will also achieve this in sugar, but we must make sure that we are all very, very serious. There is no more hiding place for any one of us in terms of making Nigeria self-sufficient in sugar. I want to single out two people here today whose hard work, dedicated patriotism, and passion for reviving Nigeria's agricultural sector has helped to make today's event a reality. The first one is our host governor, Alhaji Al-Makura, governor of Nasarawa State. He single-handedly mobilized all the necessary stakeholders in the state to join him in creating the remarkably enabling environment that attracted us to take this huge investment decision in a very, very short notice. He removed all the traditional hurdles and roadblocks usually experienced in conception and taking off of such a large-scale agricultural project. As a result, we are able to conclude and commit the investment of this project in a record time. What we succeeded in doing in less than 3 months normally takes us 2 to 3 years in other areas. Your Excellency, we thank you very much. Your Excellency, please accept our deepest appreciation, and we want to assure you that we will not only meet but indeed exceed the expectations of the good people of Nasarawa State and Nigerians at large. The next person I want to appreciate is my very, very good friend, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, CON, the governor of Central Bank, for not only doing his job as a central banker, but also paying a lot of attention into agriculture. He has gotten himself involved in funding outgrowers and also funding big-scale farmers like us, where now we're able to get money at a single-digit interest and also long-term for 10 years. I would like to thank the governor, the committee of governors, which is the deputy governors, including my brother here, Alhaji Suleiman Barau, for giving us all the support. And I want to clearly say that without their support, all our projects wouldn't have been possible. We thank you very much for all your support. The prosperity today that we're having in agriculture, I can assure you, without the involvement and also support by the Central Bank of Nigeria, it wouldn't have been possible. That's why I said earlier on, today when you go to the rural areas, people don't talk about recession. It is only when you come to cities where we live, we now talk about that, yes, Nigeria is in recession. But I want to tell you that today what they have done marvelously well, where it has actually taken a lot of wealth to the rural areas, and I hope they will continue to do much more. Special mention must also be made to our elsewhere, ambassador. There is Ambassador Musa Ilu, who has actually given us all the support. We must thank you for what you have done. I would like to thank, even though I know he has not been around, our elsewhere Chief Audu Ogbe, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, and a seasoned farmer himself that has brought his wealth of experience to bear on the transforming the agricultural sector. The encouragement and support of our own Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Oke Enel Lama, is of course a constant factor in increasing confidence in ourselves and other investors who are now showing interest in the Nigerian economy, and we will continue to also support him to achieve his work. I want to say something which is really, really, new to what we are doing. Normally, when you go in somewhere to invest, you first of all face your investment, and then you start doing some community development. Right now, before we even start the factory, our company has actually approved now more than what I promised before. They have approved the sum of 250 million naira for community development to start now from June for the Tunga and Away area. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there are so many others who have assisted us and also encouraged us in this us in various ways with our agricultural project that cannot be mentioned in this my speech. On our part, we shall work hard to vindicate them by delivering on our dream to make Nigeria self-sufficient in sugar and self-sufficient in rice in the next 5 years by the grace of God. I want to give you a good news, which we have not actually made it public, but we have signed 10 rice mills, a little bit bigger than the ones that Olam built in Nasarawa State. We are building 10 at the same time. They will all arrive in Nigeria by the grace of God end of this year, and we'll start construction. It is on this positive note that I would like to end my speech with thanks to all who have joined us here today for the MOU signing ceremony for our Tunga Sugar project. Thank you. May God bless you all.
Let's put our hands together again for the President CEO of Dangote Group. While we let all of what he has said sink in, His Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura says Nasarawa State is a state in a hurry. So from German Tunga, it is now my singular honor and privilege to call on His Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura, the beacon of inclusive governance, to deliver his speech. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much. Distinguished Senator Elijah Abdullahi Adamu, Chairman, Senate Committee on Agriculture, Honorable Member representing Nasarawa in the National Assembly, Honorable Jafaru, the Right Honorable Speaker, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, the President, Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Mohammed, Aliko Dangote, GCON, Honorable Ministers, representatives here present, especially the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Trade and Investment, the representative of the Central Bank of Nigeria, as Governor, in the person of my brother, my friend, Nasarawa State citizen, honorary, Alhaji Suleiman Barrow, members of the State House of Assembly here present, the chairman and chief executives of boards and parastatals, the executive secretary, Sugar Development Council, Dr. Latif Busari, members of the State Executive Council,
the acting managing director, Dangote Sugar Refinery, management and staff of Dangote Group here present, the Secretary to State Government, Your Excellency Ambassador Musa Ilu Mohammed, special advisors, the Emir of Away, representing the Chairman, Nasarawa State Council of Chiefs, and other royal fathers here present, the Interim Management Committee Chairman, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with delight and deep sense of fulfillment and hope that I welcome you to this auspicious occasion of the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Nasarawa State Government and Dangote Sugar Refinery for the establishment of sugar production backward integration program at Tunga, Away local government area of Nasarawa State. Today's event marks a significant milestone in our steady stride towards actualizing the coming into fruition, the largest sugar project in sub-Saharan Africa, sited in our dear state, Nasarawa. This development is the fallout of deliberate government policies to attract private investment by providing avenues for ease of doing business on the one hand, and the commitment and faith of Dangote Group in our potentials on the other. This, amongst other things, has encouraged government in creating the necessary secured environment for private investment to thrive in the state. Accordingly, a robust security platform that secures both businesses and personnel was created and sustained. We have also made enormous investments in the provision of infrastructure that are essential in boosting economic activities and general welfare of our dear citizens. In this regard, we have put in place multiple infrastructures to support investment across the state. For example, we have constructed roads and bridges throughout the state. We have also commenced the construction of a cargo airport, which when completed will open Nasarawa State to unlimited socio-economic opportunities in the state. We have also collaborated with the federal government to ensure the siting and eventual construction of the 330/132 kVA power distribution injection transmission substation in Lafia. The work is about 40% in progress. This project is reputed to be one of the most robust in the northern part of the country for the purpose of industrialization. This will no doubt support and encourage and promote not only industrialization but other related activities. With this, our plan for the establishment of industrial and commercial parks in Lafia and Karu respectively has come to stay. Huge opportunities also abound in the state for investment in real estate development through the provision of the 13,000 hectares within the Garku-Kabuzu master plan for the sole purposes of mass housing and other developmental schemes, with its long stretch of boundary contiguous to the Federal Capital Territory, especially as it is adjacent to the landmark of Asorok. The Gurku project will soon be the alternative to Abuja, just like what Maryland is to Washington, D.C. I can confidently say that by the time this project takes off, that corridor will be a city for all Nigerians. And we have not segregated in the type of beneficiaries of this project. We have made provision not only for the high and mighty, we have also considered people that are poor and could barely afford a place to squat. That would be a place where every citizen of this country, not necessarily those from Nasarawa State, would have a home they call their own. On the part of Dangote Group, interest in Nasarawa State, a joint study tour of the southern part of the state was carried out between 2015 and 2016. And the land in Tunga was identified, tested, and found to be suitable for sugar cane project. Accordingly, the president of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, GCON, visited Nasarawa State on 17th of March this year. That visit formally culminated the decision of the Dangote Group to invest in Nasarawa State and the eventual acquisition of the 60,000 hectares of land for sugarcane backward integration project in Tunga. The people of Nasarawa State consider this gesture as unprecedented because it is the first of its kind in the history of the state. On behalf of myself, the government, and the good people of Nasarawa State, let me once again express our deepest appreciation to the Dangote Group for finding Nasarawa State attractive for this giant multi-billion naira investment. We cannot thank you enough, as this singular gesture will turn around the fortunes of our state. No wonder the chief of Tunga, the emir of Tunga, has conferred on you the title of German Tunga. And that can be said to be one that has conquered poverty in Tunga and environs. In the same vein, I'd like to thank the entire Tunga community and the enthusiasm and reception and also the commitment shown towards the takeoff of this project. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that the establishment of the Dangote Sugar Refinery in Nasarawa State will add impetus to our wealth creation, investment, and employment drive towards the socio-economic development of our dear state. Before I conclude this address, let me pledge the support and cooperation of the good people of Tunga, critical stakeholders, and other neighboring communities to ensure the success of this project, particularly as it relates to ensuring the sustainability of security, peace, and stability, so that Dangote Group and other intending investors would have level playing field, serene, with all the conveniences to go about their commercial and industrial activities. This, I believe, is the only way that Nasarawa State will reap the enormous benefit of Dangote conglomerate and other interested investors. On this note, it is my singular honor and privilege to once again reiterate that Nasarawa State is open and always available for more business and investments. Thank you for listening.
Hello? Can we put our hands together for His Excellency Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura? You have heard it all. It is irrefutable. Nasarawa State is open for business. Nasarawa State, the people of Nasarawa State are blessed with the right leader who actually has the appropriate values and the vision and, of course, the singular purpose of mind to lead his people with the welfare of the common man in his heart. At this point, I would like to call on the Honorable Commissioner, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Alhaji Abdullahi Tanko Zubair, to give us the vote of thanks. Honorable Commissioner.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Umar Tanko Al-Makura, I would want to crave the indulgence of the higher table for lack of time to respectively stand on the existing protocols. Well, I feel honored and most sincerely delighted on behalf of my ministry, the Ministry of Commerce and Industries, and the good people of Nasarawa State, to profoundly appreciate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Alhaji Tanko Umar Al-Makura, for introducing policies and programs that are well deserved for investment climate, which is why Dangote Group of Company is attracted to go to Nasarawa State and invest hugely. We also want to put on record the commitment, the efforts of the President, Alhaji Aliyu Dankwade, for his interest in Nasarawa State. When he came to Nasarawa State, he really indicated his interest to do business with us, and we are grateful for that. We are also very grateful to the people of Tunga, particularly the Emir of Tunga and other stakeholders, especially the Tunga President, Alhaji Saidu Muhammad, the Majority Leader of Nasarawa State House of Assembly, Alhaji Tanko Tunga, also the other officials of government that we came together to bring about this project in Nasarawa State. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony today will not have been colorful without the esteemed presence of all of us in this hall, particularly the Senate Committee Chairman on Agric, our former Governor, Alhaji Abdullahi Adamu, the House of Representative Committee Chairman on Agric, the House of Representative Committee Chairman on Agric, Engineer Esule, and some other critical stakeholders that have helped us to bring about this project. The Chairman, Board of Solid Minerals, the Executive Secretary, National Sugar Development Council, the Chairman, National Council of Chiefs, and other emirs and chiefs that are here, we are grateful for your presence. I thank you very much for all our presence here today. Thank you.
We'd like to thank the Honorable Commissioner. This is the point we would rise for the national anthem. Thank you, most distinguished guests.
The agreement has been signed, goodwill messages handed. It now belongs to the parties involved to create enduring sacrifices in form of commitments, just so all the lofty items contained in the agreement can see the light of the day. And these include sugar sufficiency for the nation and West African sub-region, power generation of about 96 megawatts, employment creation and overall development of the local community. On behalf of all of us who brought you this live telecast, this is to thank you most sincerely for your time and attention. As we wrap up, we urge you to stay tuned to NTA as our regular scheduled program for today will be rolled out right after now. My name is Kolo Muhammad. It's goodbye from all of us.